Hello folks, and welcome to our discussion on the current situation of UK skilled worker visa restrictions in 2024. This year has seen significant changes to the UK's immigration landscape, with wide-ranging implications for businesses, individuals, and the broader economy. The headline change is the substantial increase in the minimum salary threshold for a skilled worker visa. The baseline minimum salary to be sponsored for a skilled worker visa has risen from £26,200 to £38,700, marking an increase of almost 50%. However, it's important to note that health and care workers, who account for almost half of people on work visas, are exempt from this new salary requirement. These changes are part of a broader 5-point plan unveiled by the UK government on December 4, 2023, aimed at reducing net migration. The plan also includes modifications to the shortage occupation list, adjustments to dependent visas, and a review of the graduate visa route. Existing skilled worker visa holders will not be subject to the new salary threshold when they change employment, extend, or settle. This provides some continuity for current visa holders amidst these significant changes. The implications of these changes are far-reaching, affecting sectors such as technology, engineering, and construction, which may face potential disruption. They also have significant implications for the UK labour market and sectors heavily reliant on migrant labour. In the following sections, we will delve deeper into these changes, their implications, and potential strategies for navigating this new immigration landscape. Section 1. Overview of Skilled Worker Visa. The Skilled Worker Visa is designed for individuals who have been offered a skilled job in the UK. It replaced the Tier 2, General, Work Visa in December 2020, as part of the UK's new points-based immigration system. 1.1. Purpose. The Skilled Worker Visa allows individuals from outside the UK to come to, or stay in the UK to do an eligible job with an approved employer. This visa is aimed at attracting skilled workers, who can contribute to the UK's economy, and fill jobs where there is a shortage of workers. 1.2. Eligibility criteria. To qualify for a skilled worker visa, applicants must meet several eligibility criteria. They must have a job offer from a licensed sponsor. The job must be at a required skill level of RQF3 or above, equivalent to A level, and they must be able to speak, read, write, and understand English. In addition, they must meet the applicable minimum salary threshold, which is generally £25,600, or the going rate for the job offer, whichever is higher. 1.3. Application process. The application process for a skilled worker visa involves several steps. Applicants must first be offered a job by a licensed sponsor, who will provide them with a certificate of sponsorship. They must then apply online, providing their certificate of sponsorship reference number, and proof of their knowledge of English. They may also need to provide bank statements, or salary slips to prove they can support themselves financially. The application fee varies depending on the situation, and applicants may also need to pay the healthcare surcharge as part of their application. Let's pause for a minute. Are you currently enjoying the video? If so, then please take a minute to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Also turn on the notification button, so that you are the first to be notified when the next video drops. In Chronicles of Ola, we talk about life, living in the UK, immigration-related information and lots more. So please join the family and share the channel with your friends. Now let's get back to it. Section 2. New restrictions on skilled worker visa. 2.1. Introduction to new restrictions. In 2024, the UK government introduced several new restrictions on the skilled worker visa, which have significant implications for individuals looking to work in the UK. These changes are part of a broader effort to control immigration and ensure that the UK labour market prioritizes local workers for skilled roles. 2.2. Changes in salary thresholds. One of the most notable changes is the increase in the minimum salary threshold for skilled worker visas. Previously set at £26,200, the threshold has been raised to £38,700, marking a significant increase. This change aims to ensure that skilled workers coming to the UK are offered competitive salaries that reflect the value of their contribution to the UK economy. However, certain exemptions exist, such as for health and care workers, and roles with national pay scales like teachers, who are not subject to the increased threshold. 2.3. Changes in job skill level requirements. The job skill level requirements have also been revised. To qualify for a skilled worker visa, a job offered to a migrant must now be at least RQF level 3 or above, which is equivalent to A-level qualifications. This change ensures that the visa is used for genuinely skilled positions, potentially excluding some roles that were previously eligible under the lower skill level requirements. 2.4. Changes in the Shortage Occupation List. The Shortage Occupation List, SOL, which identifies roles in high demand within the UK labour market, has been updated. The list is regularly reviewed and updated based on recommendations from the Migration Advisory Committee, MAC. In 2024, the SOL is set to be replaced by the Immigration Salary List, which will retain a general salary threshold discount, but eliminate the 20% going rate discount for shortage occupations. This means that the salary for jobs on the new list must equal, or exceed £20,960 per year, and 80% of the going rate for the occupation code. The changes to the SOL reflect the government's dynamic approach to immigration and employment, ensuring that the UK continues to attract the skilled workers it needs, while adapting to the changing economic landscape. The new restrictions on the skilled worker visa, introduced in 2024, are part of the UK government's efforts to regulate immigration and prioritise the employment of local workers in skilled roles. These changes have raised the bar for skilled workers wishing to come to the UK, with higher salary thresholds, stricter skill level requirements, and an updated SOL that will soon transition to an immigration salary list. Section 3. Impact on skilled worker dependents. 3.1. Introduction to dependent changes. The UK's skilled worker visa program has undergone significant changes in 2024, particularly affecting the rules for dependents of skilled workers. These changes have important implications for families, and could influence the decisions of potential applicants, considering the UK as a work destination. 3.2. Removal of dependents for certain categories. One of the most impactful changes is the removal of the right for dependents to accompany skilled workers in certain categories. Previously, skilled workers could bring their spouse or partner and children under the age of 18 to the UK. However, the new rules have restricted this right for certain job categories, which may be deemed lower priority or lower skilled. This means that families may have to make difficult decisions about separation, or forego the opportunity to work in the UK altogether. 3.3. Potential impact on family decisions. The potential impact of these changes on family decisions is significant. The ability to bring family members is often a critical factor for skilled workers when deciding to relocate for work. With the new restrictions, the UK may become a less attractive destination for skilled workers who prioritize family unity. This could lead to a decrease in the number of skilled workers willing to move to the UK, which in turn could affect industries that rely on international talent. 3.4. Consequences for integration and settlement. The restrictions on dependents also have broader consequences for the integration and settlement of skilled workers in the UK. Workers who are separated from their families may be less likely to view their move as permanent, potentially impacting their level of investment in their communities and integration into British society. This could have long-term implications for the cultural and economic contributions of these workers. 3.5. Impact on UK employers and economy. Finally, the changes to dependent rules can have a ripple effect on UK employers and the economy. Employers may find it more challenging to recruit and retain international talent, particularly in sectors where there is already a skills shortage. The restrictions could also impact the economy by reducing the number of consumers and taxpayers in the country, as families often contribute to the local economy through spending and taxes. The changes to the rules for dependents of skilled workers are likely to have far-reaching impacts, affecting not only the individuals and families directly involved but also UK employers, sectors reliant on skilled labor, and the broader economy. Section 4. Sponsorship requirements. 4.1. Introduction to sponsorship changes. In 2024, the UK government introduced significant changes to the sponsorship requirements for the skilled worker visa. These changes have far-reaching implications for employers seeking to hire skilled workers from outside the UK. 4.1. Increased scrutiny on sponsorship licenses. One of the key changes is the increased scrutiny on sponsorship licenses. Employers must now provide more detailed information when applying for a sponsorship license, including evidence of their genuine need for a skilled worker and their efforts to fill the role locally before looking overseas. The Home Office is also conducting more rigorous checks on businesses applying for sponsorship licenses, including site visits and audits. This increased scrutiny aims to ensure that the sponsorship system is not being abused, and that employers are genuinely unable to fill their vacancies with local workers. 4.2. Impact on employers. The changes to the sponsorship requirements have a significant impact on employers. The increased scrutiny and more rigorous checks can make the process of obtaining a sponsorship license more time-consuming and challenging. This could potentially deter some employers from hiring skilled workers from outside the UK. Furthermore, employers may face increased costs associated with a more rigorous application process and the potential need for legal advice. On the other hand, these changes could also encourage employers to invest more in training and development for local workers, potentially leading to a more skilled local workforce in the long term. 4.3. Looking ahead. Looking ahead, it's clear that the changes to the sponsorship requirements for the skilled worker visa will continue to shape the landscape of skilled migration to the UK. Employers will need to adapt to these changes and consider how they can best meet their needs for skilled labor within the new regulatory framework. This could involve investing more in local talent, exploring other visa routes, or working with immigration specialists to navigate the more complex sponsorship process. Despite the challenges, the changes also present an opportunity for employers to review their recruitment strategies and make positive changes that could benefit their businesses in the long term. Section 5. English language requirements. 5.1. Introduction to English language changes. In 2024, the UK government maintained its English language requirements for skilled worker visa applicants, which are crucial for ensuring that migrants can integrate into the UK and perform effectively in their roles. These requirements are part of the points-based system, contributing to the overall points needed to qualify for the visa. 5.2. Current English language requirements. Skilled worker visa applicants must prove their knowledge of English by demonstrating they can read, write, speak, and understand English to at least level B1, on the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, CEFR, scale. This can be done by passing a secure English language test, SELT, from an approved provider, or by having certain educational qualifications taught in English. 5.3. Educational qualifications. Applicants can meet the English requirement if they have a degree-level academic qualification that was taught in English. If the degree was obtained from a university outside the UK, they would need confirmation from NARIC that the qualification is equivalent to a UK bachelor's degree, master's degree, or PhD. 5.4. Exemptions to the requirement. Certain individuals are exempt from proving their English language skills, such as nationals from majority English-speaking countries, and those who have already passed an English language assessment, as part of a previous successful UK visa application. 5.5. Implications of the requirements. The English language requirements ensure that skilled workers can integrate into the UK workforce and society. However, these requirements also pose a challenge for some applicants, who may not have the required level of English proficiency, potentially impacting their eligibility for the visa. 5.6. Support for applicants. To support applicants in meeting the English language requirements, the UK government provides a list of approved English language tests and providers. Applicants are encouraged to prepare adequately for these tests to avoid any delays or issues with their visa applications. The English language requirements for the skilled worker visa remain a critical component of the UK's immigration system. While they ensure that skilled workers can contribute effectively to the UK, they also require applicants to demonstrate a certain level of proficiency in English, which can be a hurdle for some. It is important for potential applicants to understand these requirements and take the necessary steps to meet them to ensure a successful visa application. Section 6. Impact on the UK labour market. 6.1. Overview of the impact. The English language requirements and other restrictions for skilled worker visas can have significant implications for the UK labour market. Research shows that immigration can both increase the number of jobs and impact wages and employment prospects for UK-born workers. The effects are generally small, but low-wage workers are more likely to be negatively affected, while medium and high-paid workers are more likely to gain. 6.2. Sectors heavily reliant on migrant labour. Certain sectors of the UK economy are particularly reliant on migrant labour. These include the hospitality sector, transport and storage, and information, communication and IT, where migrants are overrepresented. Other sectors that heavily rely on migrant labour include agriculture and horticulture, healthcare, and tourism. 6.3. Implications of restrictions. The restrictions on skilled worker visas can exacerbate labor shortages in sectors that heavily rely on migrant labor, particularly those employing less skilled workers. This could lead to employers raising wages and prices, reducing production, or investing in automation. However, the new immigration system also incentivizes employers to shift to higher value forms of production and services, and invest more in the skills of their UK-born workforce. 6.4. Future considerations. The impact of these restrictions on the UK labour market necessitates regular review and potential adjustments to immigration policy, particularly in addressing critical skill shortages in key parts of the economy. The UK government may need to consider reducing the cost of visas, or eliminating certain taxes on visa holders to make it easier for immigrants to move to the UK for work. Not so fast though. Did you like the video? Do you have friends and family that need to know about these details to make their move to the UK a success? Then make sure you share, and share. Many of you only watch my videos, a whooping 80% of you, but haven't subscribed. Why not? Please subscribe today, and turn on the notification button so that you be the first to be notified when I drop more of this content. For those that want to support the channel, my PayPal link is in the description of the video. If you need a paid inquiry, make a donation to the channel, and send your details to my email, chroniclesofola@gmail.com. Shalom.